Welcome to Brain-Based Teaching. Apply what is known about the brain in the classroom. Work with the brain, not against it. Resiliency. The strength of a child's resilience appears to have a greater effect on school performance than socioeconomic status. This is not what once was thought. If a student has social competence, problem-solving skills, and autonomy and purpose, they are considered to be resilient and typically successful no matter what their background. Coping and resiliency. In the classroom, we can foster resiliency by having a physical outlet for students, giving them choice, giving them some control, making it fun, giving them some freedom, creating a sense of belonging, even by maybe cooperative groups or letting them do something according to their interest, creating stable relationships for them. Some students throughout the day, the only stable relationships they have are we teachers. Give them a sense of security, where they make sure they even feel safe. Some students don't even feel safe to raise their hands. Give them a sense of structure. And also make sure they know the purpose. Why are they doing what they're doing? Primacy recency effect. Basically, we remember best what comes first and next what comes last. Downtime is in the middle. For example, during a 40-minute class period, the first 12 minutes are the highest, and as are the last 10 minutes. In the middle is downtime. The actual last 10 minutes are the second. The first 12 minutes are where the most retention takes place, and the last 10 minutes are where the second amount of the most retention takes place. So for example, instead of doing administrative tasks, like passing out papers in the beginning of class, you may want to do it in the middle while the kids are working on something or while they're working in cooperative groups perhaps. More will be retained if the content is covered during this time. Then the next highest point, of course, of retention is at the end of class. This may even be a good time to introduce new material for the following day's lesson. Defining a key concept or vocabulary word may work well. Secondary school focus time. It's basically the student's age minus 2. And remember, this is on a good day. 7th graders, 11 minutes. 8th graders, 12 minutes. 9th graders, 13. 10th, 14 minutes. 11th graders, 15. And even those seniors, only 16 minutes. And this is in reference to the instructional time, like presentations, giving directions, not the actual work time. So as teachers, we want to make sure that our instruction time doesn't go over the student's focus time. Sensory memory to long-term memory. Basically, reach and teach. Use hooks to get them interested, video clips, music, questions, I don't know, wear a goofy hat, short puzzles, whatever will capture their attention. Reflect, something like a think, pair, share. Recode, have them summarize what was said. You can even do this through like a Cornell note style taking, or do it orally, have them do it on a document reader or overhead, smartboard, something of that nature. Reinforce, feedback. Informal formative assessments such as exit slips might be good for this. Whiteboards might be good for this. Make sure you know what they know and then give them some feedback on it. Rehearse. You can use the 5 memory system, multiple intelligences, learning styles. The more brain that is used, the more retrievable. Back to those 5 memory systems. What those is emotional memory. And if you can get something connected into the emotion, it goes straight to the long-term memory. A lot of times music is good for this. Automatic memory, that's something that we just do automatically, like calling 911. Procedural memory, that's like riding a bike. Once you learn it, you typically never forget. Episodic memory, it's where you have, where you remember like location, a spatial type of memory where something happened and you can try to create that for a kid, trying to, have them think about, a calming place or like in history, maybe where a battle may have happened and describing that in detail. Semantic memory is basically the school stuff. This is where we hold the information that is learned. These can be things like vocabulary, anything to, content, to, math facts, and we want to make sure that these things are explicitly taught. And then, of course, review the material. Throughout the unit in the year, and this of course is crucial for standardized testing, definitely you're going to have to keep doing sort of a spiral effect to the same objectives, especially things that are going to be tested on such things like the PSSA. Then retrieve. If the aforementioned steps are applied, the information should be in the long-term memory, and then the quote-unquote the files will be found. Brain principles. The brain. It responds to novelty. Keep making things new, even if it's something small. And if it's something that does work well, maybe introduce it for a little while, step away from it, and introduce it again later on. Response to movement. Have the kids get up, create a movement for that vocabulary word or for that procedure. They can even do this with classroom management types of things, like the different types of rules, and like maybe in science, the different type of procedures that they have to do. The brain is always trying to make meaning, so make it meaningful to them. Tell them how it is going to apply to their life. Thrives on concrete experience, especially at the middle school age. You need to introduce it in a concrete manner before going to the abstract. That is that is very important. You give them something concrete to look at, an object, have them pass around something they can feel, and then get into the abstract. Like I mentioned before, emotion. Emotion is help to remember experience. If you can get them have an emotional connection, whether it be funny, sad, shocking, it'll go straight to the long-term memory. Lots of times music can help with this. Those of you who are good storytellers, you can help with this too. Telling a good story, connecting in with that emotional side of the student. And of course, the brain needs social and environmental interaction, like the cooperative learning groups. More brain principles. The brain does need glucose as food for the brain. That's why it's very important for us to encourage our students to eat breakfast. They really need that glucose for their brain to function properly. And of course, they need rest as well. It automatically searches for patterns. You're going to see this more in your mathematical logical students, but the brain automatically searches for patterns. So if you can, and I know the math and science teachers are really good at this and pointing out the patterns, but we all need to be doing it and pointing out where things connect together in patterns. It will make the brain learn better. They will connect old experience to new experiences. So instead of complaining about what they had in elementary school, use that as a tool and have them connect what they learned before with what the new stuff is. Say, for example, in elementary school, you may have learned this. Now let's take it the next step. In middle school, you not only need to know some words that are nouns, but now you need to realize that some words that are nouns are actually verbs. Something like that. Needs incubation time for memories to form, and this is 24 hours with proper rest. That incubation time is really important. One of the things you can do to test for some incubation is to give the kids what we call a brain dump. For example, have them, if you're doing whatever the content is the day before. One of the things you can do is for their warm-up is give them a brain dump, which basically you give them a blank sheet of paper and you give them the topic, and then whatever you covered the day before, and have them in any organization. That's where the blank paper comes in any organizational manner that they want. They can write down what they can write down what they remembered about that topic. And it's really neat to see how some kids will draw pictures, some kids will draw lists, some kids will do like more of a mind map. It's really neat to see how they think, and also it gets out what they actually know, maybe what you need to move on from, and then maybe things you need to reteach. It's actually a very eye-opening type of warm-up. But to give it 24 hours so you know that it has time to incubate. Give them choice and control of experiences, maybe a choice board for different activities when it's appropriate. And primary needs, of course, need to get served when under stress. Obviously, kids can't learn if they are feeling unsafe or hungry or something of that nature. And that's all for now. If you'd like to see or hear more about any of the mentioned pieces of the PowerPoint or the actual act of making a PowerPoint movie, feel free to call Jackie or me. The website is below, and it is free. And please be a brain-based banshee. Talk to you soon.